Hi guys, JJ here again. It's another quick video, hopefully. Try and keep this short and simple because it's, nighttime and my brain decided to say, hey, I'm going to have a lot of things to think about. So I just thought I'd, while I'm thinking of them, I would share them with you and see if you guys have any thoughts or whatever on the opinion on the subject. When you're in a relationship with somebody, do you place when the topic of expectations come up? Are you the person, or do you know of the people that place expectations on you but aren't willing to meet your expectations? Because I think from what I have observed in a lot of relationships, it's that people don't give the same amount to a relationship, and usually the person who gives the most loses the most. Obviously, whatever you invest, if all of a sudden, you find at the end of the day that that relationship or that situation blows up, or it doesn't become what you want it to, the person who gives is the person who loses. While the other person who didn't give as much gets to walk away feeling like king shit because he or she, I'm speaking based on my personal experience with guys, they get to walk away feeling like they're on the top of the world, they've got all that they wanted from you, but they didn't give as much, and they feel like somehow they feel good about themselves for that. And I'm not really sure why that's a good thing. It's kind of like, hey, I used that person, and now I get to feel good about myself because I'm like, I got all I wanted out of that person, and and what? I don't know how they'd finish that sentence, because to me, if I did that, or when I've done that, I know I'm not perfect. I'm not saying that I've never done this. So to anybody who I have done this to, I am so sorry, because it's not my intention. But I am human, so please forgive me as I would forgive you guys. But it comes down to the concept of do unto others as you would have done to yourself. Would you do... It is fine, having expectations of how we are treated is not a bad thing. It's good to value yourself enough to say, you know what, this is how I want to be treated. If you can't treat me like that, we need to reevaluate our relationship, or our friendship, or our work. Whatever the situation is, you have to be willing to give. If you're in a group situation, you have to be willing to put in as much work and effort as you expect them to put in. Otherwise, it is not a relationship. It is just slavery. It is kind of like being a slave. It's like you expecting that person, or, your maid, or your... It is your hired help with an emotional or whatever attachment. And depending on the person, maybe not even that. But I've found from observing other people's relationships and kind of taking note of the ones that I have happened to be in, or I've spent a lot of time single, so I'm mostly speaking of observing others and figuring out what has worked for some of them and what hasn't worked for the other most of them, what hasn't worked. And I find that it's when you get so comfortable with somebody that all of a sudden, you start losing interest in, you get so comfortable that you stop trying to impress each other, you start trying to just let things, you drop your communication, you drop your flirting, you drop a bunch of other things, and then what it's replaced with is demands, unrealistic demands, and just basically negativity. You start bringing the vibe that you're going to do this for me or I'm going to leave you. You're going to do this for me or I'm going to leave you. You're going to treat me this way or I'm going to leave you. There's a demand and then there's a threat. You better not be looking at that girl, because if you do, I'm going to be like so mad and you're not going to get any and blah, 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 blah. And then the guy goes, oh my god, I can't look at another girl if I want to get laid by this girl. But this girl's too high. This girl has, like, I can't even look. Like, I personally, as much as sometimes if I catch a guy that I'm with that I like, or that, we're supposed to be spending time together, and I see him look at somebody that I go, why is he looking at that girl? The insecurity doesn't come from him. It comes from me. Or you, If you're the person that's sitting there going, hey, I'm feeling uncomfortable with this situation. Why is that guy looking at her? Because he's supposed to be here with me, and we're supposed to be together, and if he's looking at other girls, all of a sudden I'm threatened. I think that that's unfair. People have eyes. People can still look at other people, as far as I'm concerned. It's what they do after that you maybe should take more note of. If it's, if they stop listening to you, if they stop acting, lovey-dovey with you, if they start, giving more attention to the people around them than they do you, then that's what you have to be mindful of. But don't snap and be like, oh, you're looking at that girl, blah, 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 stop paying attention. You just address the situation. Just be like, either that or just, remain quiet and bring it up at some other time when you've had a chance to kind of cool down about the situation and realize that it might not have been that situation. Maybe he had just had something else on his mind and that girl just happened to walk by. You have no idea. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of people that are like, don't be saying that. That just gives him once he looks, he might cheat, and if he cheats, then the relationship's done. And if that's how you feel, that's your opinion. This is just my opinion. We're all entitled to our opinions. But the eyes are meant to look. The heart is meant to love. He may look at that girl, but if he loves you, he's going to come home with you at the end of the day, and at the end of the night, he's going to tell you he loves you. He's going to spend the majority of his time with you. His eyes can look. Because unless you can, super glue... I don't even... I hesitate to say things online because you never know who's actually going to take my advice and actually do it, and then they're going to hold me accountable. So, I'm not... This is not a do this, do that. This is just me saying, you can't stop a man from staring, or a girl from staring, or, you can't control what a person does. You can only control how you react to the situation that will escalate or de-escalate the situation. If he's willing to look at another girl, then just, if it bothers you, tell him. If it bothers you, express that it bothers you that he's looking at another girl. But be prepared that he's going to come back at you, well, it bothers me when you talk to that guy or whatever, or you are looking at that guy, or, you know, you have to be willing to do the same thing that you expect him to do or her to do. Expectations are so one-sided these days. It's like, or you want your cake and eat it too. You want to be able to say, hey, you can look at, I can't look at that. No. You want to be able to say, you can't look at that person or can't do this, but I can look at this person and do this. Like, you still want to be able to have your freedom, but put expectations and weight on that person that you're with. It doesn't work. You need to be willing to invest as much into your relationship, your work, your family, your whatever the situation, anything that you do in life, you have to be willing to put the work in. The effort, the love, the time, the whatever it is that is required of you, you have to be willing to give it as much as you're asking for it. Or else sometime the person who does the giving and is finding that they're always the one that's giving, when they leave, pardon my French, but you're fucked. Because all of a sudden, that person's gone, and you're left feeling like empty. If we place fewer expectations and less pressure, and we are willing to give as much as we are willing to get, I think we'll be all happier in our relationships and our life. But that's what I know. Anyway, have a good night. Hopefully everybody gets to sleep. Hopefully I get to sleep too. But let me know what you think about this video. If it went on too long, I'm sorry. Just I don't edit, so I like things to be real. I like things to be authentic. I'm too tired right now to edit, for one thing, and obviously there's no makeup. This is just me straight, ready for bed. Anyway, have a good night. Bye.